10 years ago, I had a full-blown nervous breakdown. Not because I didn't pray, not because I didn't believe, but I was carrying more than I realized, and it finally caught up with me. Maybe you've been there too. If you struggle with anxiety or depression, I want you to know that you're not crazy. You're not beyond repair, and you're not alone. And struggling, it doesn't mean that you're a bad Christian. I've taught the Bible for decades. I've stood on stages. I've been the one that people turn to for help and counsel, and still I've battled these invisible monsters. None of that protected me. In fact, it just piled on the pressure, the expectations, the need to maintain my image, the feeling like I had to hold it all together. Those things, they only made my mental health struggles worse. So please hear me. You can be a devoted follower of Jesus and still struggle. And that doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. And so for the next few minutes, I just want to share a bit of my story because maybe you'll find pieces of your own in it and be encouraged. Now, looking back, I've always had anxiety. I just didn't know what it was. As a kid, I was intense. People would call it driven, but I was always trying to do everything just right. I was trying to be perfect. Nervous energy, that was not an occasional thing for me. That was my constant. It was like background noise I couldn't shut off. Social situations, they made me feel like I was just one wrong word away from a disaster. And even small everyday things like raising my hand in class or walking into some group setting would set my heart racing. I played competitive soccer from elementary school all the way through college, and the story was always the same. If I had a bad game, I wasn't just disappointed. It wrecked me. Like I would spiral into depression for at least a day or two. And to my friends and teammates, it probably looked like I was sulking, but the truth, I was crashing. Because those moments of what I thought was failure, they made me feel worthless. And this didn't just stop on the field. That same anxiety, that same obsessive overthinking, it showed up in my relationships too. I'd fixate on tiny flaws in whoever I was dating. Things no one else cared about, but I cared. I cared too much. And that would lead me into a brutal cycle of guilt and shame. Anxiety would spin into guilt. Guilt would slide into depression. And now most of the time, those depressive episodes, they were just short, a few days, a week. But there were a couple stretches that really lasted for months, really dark months. However, I would say that most of my time in college could be characterized positively. I had an incredible support system of friends. I had the constant activity of campus life that just helped me keep my mental health steady and intact during those years. After college, I met my wife, Sherry. I could tell you I was pretty much infatuated from the start. And so we started dating right as I began grad school, and I took a job as a personal trainer. And so everything just hit me at once. I was waking up at 4 a.m. to open the gym. I was taking classes at night, and I was falling in love in between. And I was constantly behind. I was running on fumes. I was just trying to hold it all together. And then I got my first paperback in sports psychology. Made a 60. I'd always been the straight A guy, and that one grade, it wrecked me. I completely fell apart. I couldn't think, I couldn't calm down. My brain was locked in panic mode. I felt like I was just left stranded. Now, looking back, I know that was a panic attack. But at the moment, I thought I was just failing and falling apart. More moments like that came over the years. Each one chipped away at me. But I didn't think it was anxiety. I thought I was just being weak. I thought if I tried harder, I could fix it. Then in 2015, everything collapsed. I had a mole removed. The doctor called, melanoma. I Googled it and I spiraled. See, even though they caught it early and they removed it, my brain went into overdrive. I became obsessed. I was checking every spot on my body. I was convinced I had cancer everywhere. And for 2 weeks, I barely moved. I lost it. I didn't eat, I didn't talk, I just shut down. I tried medication, but the side effects, nausea and dizziness and brain fog, it just added to the spiral, and so I stopped. That was the lowest point in my life. I honestly didn't know if I was going to make it out. But somehow, God was still there. Not loud, not dramatic, but quietly present in the chaos. Coming out of that, I can say there was really no just big breakthrough moment. There was nothing magic about it. After the crash, I got desperate. You see, I'd seen depression just cripple my dad, and I didn't want it to take me too. And so even though I felt like I was drowning, I forced myself to move. I took walks with my headphones in just to feel the air on my face. I made myself eat in the teacher's lounge, and every moment was miserable. I mean, even when I wanted to hide, I talked. I stood in front of my students and I taught them, even though inside I just felt like a shell. Each step felt like a battle, but inch by inch, I started crawling out of it. I mean, it took 6 months before I even started to feel anywhere close to normal. But God was in the middle of it, not fixing everything instantly like I would have wanted, but staying with me in it. I still remember being on my porch all alone, not having anything else to pray, and feeling the words, "My grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness." Because I didn't feel strong, but what I can say is God didn't wait for me to get it all together. He met me right where I was, right in the middle of my mess. Ten years ago, anxiety wrecked me after a cancer scare. More recently, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. It started with a routine eye exam. A few hours later, I was in the office of a neurological ophthalmologist hearing the words, "You have MS." I could say my body after that went haywire for almost a year. Just things, some of them never even really returned to normal, but I can say this time I didn't spiral. There were moments of fear, yes, but I stayed grounded, not because I was stronger, but because I learned to depend. You see, what once broke me now drove me deeper into Him. And that's how I know that Jesus is growing me. I'd love to say I was cured from anxiety. I'm not. Anxiety still visits often. Sometimes it whispers, most times it shouts, but I've stopped seeing it as failure. You see, I've learned to slow down, to rest, to ask for help without shame, to tell the truth about what I'm feeling. I've learned that healing, it's not a straight line. It's messy. It's back and forth. It's like a roller coaster, but it is possible. I've learned it's okay to take medication. It's okay to set boundaries. It's okay not to be okay. I've learned sometimes strength, it's just showing up, breathing, taking the next step. And most of all, I've learned that God's presence isn't based on how strong I feel. He's with me in the pit and on the path out. And so if you're in the dark right now, hear me. You are not beyond help. You are not alone. There is hope. Take the walk, make the call, say the prayer. That one small step might be the beginning of healing and growth that you never saw coming.